All right. Good evening and welcome to the Scotty Rorek Show. How do you like that name, Jason? Pretty good.
Now that was cool. I like that.
You like the opening
I
and,
do.
and and the new name, the Scotty Rorek Show. I was like, I've been watching the Carol Burnett show too long on MeTV, so I decided to
Right.
rebrand my show.
No, I love it. I think the graphics and the cartoon stuff is fun.
Yeah, and I did it all myself. Can you believe that? That's the crazy part of this whole thing.
Did you really?
Yeah,
Did how many
but
YouTube videos did you watch to learn how to do it?
you.
Right. That's okay.
it's but it's pandemic time, and you got to learn a lot of stuff. So.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome tonight. Gail, Greg, Barbara, Candy, Dale Kazmerk's on. Hi, Dale. Paula Kinder. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Scotty Rourke Show. Tonight, I have a very dear friend with me, a gentleman I've known for quite a while and consider one of my very, 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 very good friends, Jason Arthur. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thank you, brother. I'm excited to be here. I haven't got to hug you. I haven't got to see you, and
I
I
know
miss you.
we missed last year when we always do the Toledo Paracon that Jason helps
Right.
put on, and we missed last year because of the pandemic, and then with all the shows canceling last year, I didn't get out to Ohio at all,
Right.
and so I miss Jason,
Um,
I miss Joe Kudo. He's even in town, and we don't even get it.
right. Joe's working a ton. They're working him horrible.
That's
He's
crazy.
working 70, 80 hours a week. And then
Wow.
and then takes an hour and a half to sit down with us every Tuesday. So but yeah, I
Yeah.
miss you, brother. I miss you.
Yes.
I'm glad to see you look fantastic. I'm glad to
Thank
see
you.
you doing well. Yeah.
You like the long hair? See
I
what?
do. I do the locks.
Yeah, they're going crazy.
The
So
locks.
I still haven't cut my hair since COVID started back in November of what was it, 19 now.
Right.
So this is what, a year and a couple months already. So
Yeah,
it's
me
pretty.
me me too, but I don't seem to have that problem.
That's awesome. Well, welcome to the show. Tonight we're going to talk about you, and we'll just be able to chat like we normally do. And it's always fun just to sit down and just shoot the crap with somebody. And Jason, is so easy to do that with. So
Yeah, sounds good. If we're going to talk about me, this show's going to last about 5 minutes, and everybody can go eat dinner. Uh,
yeah, they already ate, and then they scarf their food down, and then they come watch the show, or they watch the
right?
show while they're eating. So
While they're
don't
eating.
spill any
Right.
crabs, everybody. So
That's right.
why don't we start with Jason? Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you? It's easier for you to say it than for me.
Well, I'm Jason Arthur. I live here in Toledo, Ohio. I'm married. I have 3 children, and I am in law enforcement. I just started my 25th year. That's why obviously my last name is Arthur, but for security reasons and reasons of what I do at work and some of the specialized units that I'm involved in, we don't use our last names. So, but I'm 25 years in law enforcement, and then about the last 15 years or so, we've started a paranormal team locally, and then kind of branched out, started doing some things with Jay Lynch, my brother, and we started LEP Productions, and we've kind of just took off from there, doing Paranormal Mysteries, the series, and we were gracious to get back into some of the podcasts with you, and having a good time doing that, and then we started some different shows, and then we met Bodine the Bigfoot, who's been a huge part of our fun times here the last 2 years, and um, we've actually I just signed about a half hour before I got on show with you, our sixth convention for this year to take Bodine. We're
Wow, that's
actually
great.
coming out as far as Iowa, so um,
Nice.
we're excited about that.
So, yeah, Barbara says, Jason, does your wife know where you are? And I have to say yes because I just saw her walk by before we went on the air. So,
Right? Yeah. No, she's around here somewhere. Um, and then doing the acting, doing the films. I was honored to be able to do a couple with you, and we've done some films together over the years, and um, have actually just done a few as well, and getting ready to do another one here in about a week with the
Oh,
Booth
really?
Brothers. Yeah,
Oh,
I
good.
actually was able to set up the talks between the Booth Brothers and the Collingwood Arts Center. They're going to film a horror movie at the Collingwood, so um, well, I'll be with them for about 2 weeks, and excited to do that one. We just finished up Cruel Summer with those bastards there in Florida. With
You can't say that
Scotty
on
and Jim.
you can't say that on Facebook anymore because their page
Right?
got
Yeah,
banned.
it's Los Basts or something like
Yeah,
that. How silly is that? Um,
that's
and then
way
I
too
did
silly. I mean, they can't even say the name of their business.
right, exactly. I mean, it's not like they're out calling people names or anything. It's their company. My God, they've been around for a while, so
Right.
was able to do that one. I've worked with Rad Entertainment as well. Did Idol Girl, which is going to come out on release here soon. So just I've been busy, not enough hours in the day, obviously, but having fun. Enjoying what I'm doing, enjoying working with the people that I do get to work with, and I always say, and 100 times, surround yourself with good people and good things happen. And
Right.
I think I've done that. I think I've surrounded myself with fantastic people, just like you, Scotty. I love you like a brother, and I'm honored to know you. Honored to know you for sure.
No, same here, man. I mean, that is so true. On the fact that if you surround yourself with the right people, then you don't ever have to worry because you're always with, people that love you. Too often we try to spend our time trying to impress somebody instead of just being yourself. And if they can't take you for yourself, then they shouldn't be in your life anyway. So,
Exactly. Yeah, you don't need that for sure.
yeah. So let's go back in the Wayback Machine, back to when was the first time that we're going to talk about, because we're going to start with the paranormal tonight. We're going that
Okay.
route.
All right.
So I know that you didn't want to be a paranormal. I mean, compared to a cop, which one was first, paranormal or cop?
Paranormal experience first,
Okay.
but helping people and doing things in the field, definitely cop was first.
Okay. So what was your first paranormal experience then, and what age was it?
Probably about, I'd have to say 15, 16. Had to have been 16 because I was driving. I was sitting at home. My dad had just went, he ran like a gym for basketball and volleyball and that. And he went over to close up the gym, and I was sitting at home and watching TV, and a shadow figure went from one side of the opening, walked in front of me to the other, like heading out the door. And I felt like a cool breeze, and I really had just scared the hell out of me, with watching the scary movies growing up, and never really wasn't. I won't say I wasn't not interested in it, but I really just didn't know anything about it. Um,
Okay.
so I saw that, and that freaked me out. So I actually ran around the corner and out the door to the car, drove over to the gym where my dad was at, told him what I saw, and he's yeah, okay, whatever. And then it just all kind of started. I started seeing different things here and there, out of the corner of your eye, passing by different things, but always just kind of passed it off as, I'm seeing something, or my mind wants me to see something, or that kind of
Right.
stuff. And, just started getting involved here locally with um, some other cops involved, and we started up a group, and we've been doing that ever since.
Cool. Paula asks, have you ever had experiences as an officer with the paranormal? Good question. Thanks, Paula.
Uh, you know, I have. Um, One sticks out in my mind, and I've tried to figure it out in so many different ways. And my partner that I was with um, has abilities, and as soon as we started talking about it, then we started figuring things out. But long story short, we had found a wallet, and
We
I
have
was
plenty.
trying.
We have plenty. We have plenty of time tonight, so don't worry about
Okay,
long stories. They're okay.
we we found a wallet, and I was
Okay.
trying to return it back to its owner. The address that was provided on um, the ID that we had, we went there. As we pulled in, there was nobody on the street. There was nobody walking. There wasn't anybody anywhere on the street. And these were condos. So they're lined up one after another. And you can obviously see down the street on the sidewalk, nobody's walking anywhere. We pulled up, got out of the car, started walking up to the condo, and I glanced back towards the car, and there was a very old man standing at the edge of the driveway, just standing there staring at us. And I thought, well, that's odd because I didn't see him when we pulled in. And he was obviously old enough that we would have seen him walking, and we didn't see him anytime pulling up, anytime pulling in. So I had mentioned to my partner, do you see the guy at the end of the driveway? And she was like, yeah. She was kind of creepy, isn't it? And I said, yeah, because he kind of just came out of nowhere. So we continued up, and I knocked on the door. Nobody was answering. I looked back, driveway, just staring at us. And my partner had made the mention, she's like, oh, some, old nosy neighbor, an old guy that just wants to know why the cops are here.
Right.
And I kept telling her, but where did he come from? Like, we didn't see him. He wasn't walking. So we knock again. I look back. He's still there. They answer the door. I talk to them for a minute. As I'm talking to them, my partner's talking. I glance back. He's gone. He was there. Then he was gone. And we finished up, walked down to the car. Nowhere to be found. Not walking down the sidewalks. Not walking down the street. Nothing. So where he came from, why we saw him, not a clue. He didn't say anything. He didn't do anything. He just stood at the edge of the driveway staring at us while we were there. But he came and went without us ever seeing him.
Wow, that is incredible. That's a cool story. It was probably the guy's dad.
Who knows? I have no idea. Like I said, it's one of those where I kind of think it leans more towards the paranormal than anything else because, like I said, there wasn't any trees, so it wasn't like the guy was walking in the tree line and he was old. I mean, the guy was old. So
Yeah.
I am not Toledo. I work for Lucas County in the Toledo's inside Lucas County, but I work for Lucas County.
We're jumping around, but we'll go ahead with the guys in the chat room because we'll talk about your shows later. But they always want to know, do you, Jay and Joe, ever get tired of the weird things? And what was the worst thing you ever ate?
No, Greg, you know what? It's fun. We do it for the viewers. We do it so everybody gets a laugh and has fun with us. I'm gonna say the clam juice was probably the worst for me. Drinking the clam juice. We did a big thing at the Rhodes Hotel one night, and my beautiful wife surprised me with a package that I couldn't open until we got there for all of us to eat. And inside the package, one of the items was clam juice. And as soon as it went in, it came right back out. I couldn't, that was bad. That was horrible. But we've definitely eaten a bunch of crazy, weird, nasty things.
Everything from insects to you name it.
Yeah.
Hot stuff. What's the most hot stuff you
well, we had those Bean Boozled, the packets, and it was the hottest packet that they do, and I did the whole box in one shot. Probably wasn't my smartest move, but because it was hot for a long time. But like I said, we do it for everybody, just to have fun and get a laugh, and take your mind off of what's happening during the day or the week or whatever, and just laugh at us, laugh with us. It's all the same to us,
Yeah, just laugh. That's the best thing. Just enjoy yourself. Yeah, thank you. So let's talk on. We're not even into everything. So, what got you into the police force?
Um, I always, it's kind of one of those things where I always looked up to law enforcement. I always wanted to help people. Um, and it was just kind of right place, right time. I started with the juvenile justice system as a corrections officer for the kids. Got working with the kids and kind of being a mentor to them, and that kind of spiraled into getting hired on at the sheriff's department, and then I made a career out of it. I enjoy it. I love going to work.
Yeah. Well, that's great. You know, that's. I guess that's the same thing. I mean, I have to say, finally, I'm doing this full time, and I'm happy to go to work. And my commute from the couch to my computer is like 5 seconds. So that's
Right,
my commute now. I save so much gas. Well, don't, I still have gas, but
right, right. Yeah, they
but
say if you love what you're doing, it's not work, and that's
no, it's
you know
not.
that
It's fun. It's so exciting. Um, so throughout your career, did you have the paranormal stuff? Because like for me, even though I turned it off from when I was a kid all the way to college, and then from college till I met Terry, and through it I didn't really do it a lot either, but I still had things happening to me all the time. Did you have happenings through this before you started really getting into this?
looking back, I recognize different things that I was seeing and feeling and stuff. But I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't. I just didn't think I was that guy. I thought it was. And we've talked about it a lot, Scotty. It was more like the deja vu thing, or
Okay.
I just kind of that, and I just marked it off as being that, and moved on. I never really dwelled on any kind of paranormal things or and what was I seeing, what was I feeling, that kind of stuff. Um,
Right.
until I started trying to understand the paranormal a little more, and that's what really got me involved in the paranormal was trying to overcome that fear and trying to understand what exactly was out there and what exactly um, we could talk to and figure out and understand and so that's why I got into doing the paranormal stuff was more than anything just trying to understand and um, figure out what's out there, trying to
Yeah.
overcome fears of sort. It's
I know. I know that mine was finally, just watching it on TV and knowing that, hey, like I used to watch Most Haunted, and I would watch them. They would run around screaming, yelling. I didn't, but everything Derek was doing on there, Derek Acor, everything he was doing on the show, I did. I mean, I
right,
said, I do that. No, don't go there because there's nobody in that room or somebody's in that room. That
right,
type of thing. So that's how I got back into it, and then I started my radio show. Then I started Z Talk Radio, and then everything's been going since then. But it was one of those things that like you said, I had to look back, and now I can put so many fingers on so many things that happened through my life that I never really had answers for before. That
right.
now I understand what all the precursors for me doing this were in my life. So it's been remarkable that Spirit's been with me that long, trying to keep me going and keep me getting into this field. And I think that was the same thing for you.
Yeah, pretty much. It was, like I said, I wanted to start trying to understand different things, and it was scary at first. It was, when you think about it, talking with something that you can't see or you don't know what it is, but there's obviously something else there that's wanting your attention. What is it? Why is it doing this? What does it want from you? So yeah, that's I wanted to learn more about it. So that's why I started.
Yeah. And what was funny is can you imagine when we first met so many years ago? I mean, I'm trying to think how long ago it was. I mean, I think it's over 10 years, isn't it?
It has to be over 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember us when we first were investigating. We're so different guys back then.
Right. Oh, exactly. Exactly. But everybody changes. Everybody, um,
We all learn. We all
gets
move
a
on.
gets a little wiser. So
Yeah, but don't you think a little wiser now is continuing for you? Because I feel that you're way more connected and your gifts are starting to show, or you're accepting your gifts more. You know what I mean? I think that that's the cool part of the growth, is that we're truly understanding what's there, and now we just got to help, prove it and show it and get the evidence of it, that type of thing.
Sure. Yeah, it's, for me, it's always been that it can't be me. It's not. I'm not that gifted, or I'm not that person. You know. So then, if you just start letting things happen and accepting what's happening, and then trying to learn as to why it might be happening to you, or around you, then you become a little bit more open to it. That was the other thing, and Jay and I talk about all the time. You put up that wall, we had that wall up for a long time,
Yeah.
and now since I've started to learn more about it from you and Teresa, and it's okay to have the wall down. It's okay to try to figure things out, and that's what's helped me out the most, is being able to put my wall down, put your barricades down, and actually let it come in and try to understand it.
Yeah,
It's been cool.
I'm so glad you said it that way, because Jay probably had him up the longest. He always used to say, "I never see nothing." There's nothing.
Right.
He deny it now, and now he's one that says, "If it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not." But that's the same thing you and I both do. We don't go running around and say everything's spirit, or we don't go running around and say everything's not. You know what we mean?
Right.
And what you said at the end, was the biggest thing for us, is the fact that we just go into experience now, and then we will make our decisions off our experiences,
Right.
which is the biggest difference in the world. Some groups go in to debunk, wrong. Some people go in to show ghosts, wrong. Why don't you just go in to see what's going on?
Yeah. We've actually, a lot of times, if it's not with a convention or leading a group or something like that, because a lot of people like the equipment. I
Yeah.
personally like to, if you take anything, a voice recorder, and just go in and just take in everything that's happening around you, because I think, just my opinion, but I think you get caught up in watching the equipment, or wanting to see the lights go, or wanting to see all this go.
I'm like this. People are always like this. I'm like going, get your head away. You just missed a
And
ghost.
you're not paying attention to what's happening around you. And that's what I like to do. I like to just go in and take everything in, and to accept what's happening around me, because I feel that the experience you will have is going to be 10 times greater than watching that K2 meter go to yellow.
Right.
Just me. Again, it's just my opinion, but I think that if people put down the equipment a little more and experienced what's actually there for themselves, I think you get a lot more out of it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, people have watched the show before. I've said it hundreds of times. It's like, put them down. The number one piece of equipment we have is this thing right here.
Right.
And our eyes, so we can see and hear, and it's us. It's us experiencing. And Spirit likes for us to be around and experience with them. That's their whole goal in life, is to get us to know that they're there, so then we can communicate, we can feel them, and we feel trusted, and we feel secure that they're next to us. It's like having Jason, just like having a cop next to you all the time. My spirit guides will always protect me as much as they can.
Yeah, exactly. Use your senses. That's my big thing now. That's Jay and I do that a lot, is put it all down, put everything down, and just go in and sit and take it all in.
Right. That's cool. So Candy says, have you had any experiences with in the juvenile facilities?
I had right before I left, just to, little things, but we had a juvenile that took his own life, and just before I left, there was some things that happened inside the building and that's the thing. It was what was happening then. I pushed it off as, that was probably this or probably that, but looking back at it and now accepting some of the things that I have, I truly think that it was something else that was trying to get my attention. Um, so I usually don't talk about that one too much because that one's a little hard. But
Right.
yeah, we did have some things that happened there. When you're dealing with, there's so much emotion when you're dealing with juveniles and kids who have been taken out of the home and placed in detention centers, and um, there's just a lot of um, sporadic activity there. So there was a lot of things that were happening inside that building, which it's closed and they've built another one, and so. But yeah, there was
Can we
definitely some
get?
things that happened.
Have you got in to investigate now?
No,
And we'll let
no,
you in. Come on.
I don't believe that they would, and I have never even thought about it. Like I said, because of some of the things that happened in that building. I don't. I might later. There's a couple of places around that are attached to the law enforcement community that I would like to do before I retire, but that's I'd like to do that on my way out, so that I know when I'm done, I'm done, and it's kind of a when done um, type of thing in those buildings.
Yeah. All right. We got a question from Linda. As an empath, when I have a reaction to something, is that me feeling their feelings or is it something else? It's you feeling their feelings. Yeah, because we're interacting with that spirit or that ghost. Have you heard my new definitions, Jason, on that ghosts and spirits?
No.
So to me, what a ghost is now, and I'm trying to get everybody to use it because I want these terms to get out there. But a ghost is a human or anybody that's died but not gone to heaven.
Okay.
Okay, so, they're stuck here on earth of that energy. That's a ghost. A spirit is someone that's died and has gone all the way over to heaven. So
Okay.
those are spirits because they're with God. They're of love. They're a very different feeling than the ghosts we interact with that haven't crossed over.
Gotcha.
So, been
So
trying to get that.
can
Go ahead.
both be intelligent? Can they?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, very much so. But a
Gotcha.
ghost is the one that causes the most issues in investigations or in people's homes because they still have all the rules of Earth, which aren't any.
Gotcha.
They can do whatever they want. They can be tricksters. They can do things that we don't want them to do. They can come from hate or revenge. That's why they're stuck here anyway, is because something caused them to stay here instead of crossing over.
Gotcha.
But spirits go to heaven, and once you're in heaven, you're all of love. You still can come back. You can still do everything, but you're still of all love, and that's the difference.
That's a neat way to look at it.
Yeah.
Never even thought about it that way.
So that was always my one big difference. I started thinking of this when I was watching Ghost Whisperer, because when Melinda would cross people over, which she can't really do anyway because people have to do it themselves, but when they crossed over, she always was like, "Oh, we'll never see them again." No, that's not the case. If you go to heaven, that's what I do for readings. I give readings every day. Your grandma, your grandpa, your dad, your brother, your husband, come back to me. I said, how can they do that when they're across on the other side and they're not stuck here waiting, And so that's why I said the people that stuck here are waiting. That's why I call them ghosts. And then the people that crossed over, I call spirits. Give them a little bit more respect that they decided to cross over.
Right.
All the way over.
No, that makes sense. That's a neat way to look at it.
So yes, Linda, as an empath, that's what we're doing. We're feeling the energies. And because you're there with them, if you're getting the energies of love or understanding and that type of stuff, then it's a spirit. But yeah, it's not something else. Unless the ghost or somebody was trying to get you to do that. I mean, we could go down a lot of things, but the 99% of the time, what you're asking for is real. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, Linda, go ahead and ask us again in the chat. Thanks. Oh yeah, Linda says thanks. I see it. All right.
That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, isn't it? I mean, it kind of makes up for it because when we go investigating, sometimes we get those really ghosts that lie to us and cause issues, try to have you feel heart attacks and get you
Right.
all combobulated. You know what I mean? And just get you all crazy. And I'm like, why are they doing that? Well, they're doing that because they have no rules. They're not of love. They're not of heaven. They're still of earth. They're
Right.
doing the exact same things they did on earth. They're doing as a spirit, and maybe that's what they want.
Gotcha. Yeah, we got one at the Collingwood for the past probably 2 years that's been doing that
Oh,
out of
really?
nowhere. Out of nowhere.
Yeah, because the last
And
time I
it's
was there, they weren't there.
no, it's within the last like 2 years, and it's there, and it's one of those where every time I'm in the building, I have to go up. It's up on the fourth floor, and I have to go before I leave the building. I have to go up there, and it's like that building. It calls me all the time. I love going in that building. I love being a part of um, that location, but it can at times be a little draining because it's wanting me there. It's like
Right.
we need you in here. And but yeah, the past 2 years there's something up on the fourth floor that um, it's definitely it's it's not demonic, it's not evil, it's not anything like that, but it definitely likes to play games. It likes to make you think something and then something else happens, that kind of stuff. So there's my ring doorbell.
Nice.
But um, yeah, but there's definitely something that hopefully in October we're gonna have Paranormal Toledo again, and I'll take you up there so you
All
can
right.
try to figure it out. Teresa and I go up there all the time when they're in town, and it's definitely something that likes to play around for sure.
Cool. So I know you. I know we all investigated a lot of places, and Paula asks, where has been your favorite place to investigate other than Collingwood? Because you kind
I
of
was
got
gonna
to.
say the Collingwood.
No, no, no. We already heard that. We heard that story. So move on. Next one.
uh, well, I mean, there's quite a few. I thoroughly enjoy investigating Ashmore Estates. I like that. I like that location a lot. Um, the Rhodes Hotel is fun. It just kind of it depends on, and again, it's me. I don't like the big name places. I just I'd like to see Trans Allegheny just to see it, but I really honestly I don't. It's not on a bucket list for me to. If I were to die tomorrow, I'd be upset that I didn't get to go in. Would I like to? Sure, but you know, Mansfield I've done numerous times. I love the history. I love being in a location. Prospect Place is another one. I love being in a location where you can think that you're standing at this fireplace, and in 1862 they were in here eating dinner.
Right.
I like being in those kind of places. I like more of the historic. What history ties behind the building. Who was there, why they were there, that sort of thing. Um, and the Collingwood has a great story of building and running out of money and selling and building and running out of money, and just that continuous um, cycle from families to the Ursuline nuns to what it is today. And it's fascinating to me to walk the halls and know, the people that were inside that building and what they saw and what they experienced. And
Right.
so that's more of, um, the Pear Cafe 101 in Winchester that Roe does. That's a fantastic location.
Yeah.
And I would love to see more people get in there because it's, the history. It was so many different things. It was a bakery, it was a police station, it was, all kinds of stuff. And it's just, I don't know. To me, that's what makes it fun is getting that sort of the location and the history and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I agree with you because I'll say my favorite ones are doing private investigations because I can actually meet people's families.
Right,
That's why I love doing readings, and that's why I love doing people's house to help them actually figure out how to live with the spirits that are in their homes. Who are the spirits, and why are they there, and
right,
and and what do they want? Because usually after we go in and we can figure out who it is, we can usually settle the thing. And a lot of people live with them. They like them. They feel more
right,
comfortable now that they're protected. That they have spirits there. But to know that grandma's there, dad's there, or somebody's really protecting you is pretty crazy.
well, and see, that's what you offer with your gift is your ability to do that. What I found, and I've tried to steer clear of doing a lot of residential investigations and things because, and I don't know if other people here can attest to it or not, but it kind of turned into people wanting us in there just so they could see a live version of ghost hunters. And they'd have 10
Right.
people in the living room with popcorn and pop and one to watch the show. I'm not there for a show.
No.
I've traveled 2.5, 3 hours to try to help you. And you've got your aunts and uncles and cousins in the house, which we asked you not to do. And now it's turned into you just want a live play by play of how everything works. So we really got away from that. I still do. We still do. If it's a case that they're actually looking for help, then we will go and help. But I you know I don't have that gift like you do, so there's nothing that I can offer those people to sit down if they're trying to communicate with a loved one, like
Right.
you can. And I think I applaud you for it. I think it's fantastic that you're able to give back and share that ability with people so that they can get some answers, maybe some closure, you know, whatever
Right.
they're looking for.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and Shadow Hunters, as a group, we always, I freelance with like we're 3 or 4 groups. I freelance with you guys. I'm a freelancer, so. But Shadow Hunters has decided to do um, residential now again too. For a long time, we didn't do that either. With them, is for the same reasons. But
Right.
now we're finding that we're starting to get more people again, and they're starting to need some of the some need some of the help. So it's time to get back into it again.
Exactly.
My favorite place to investigate ever was the Oshkosh Public Museum. That by far was the greatest thing. I did that with Tim Miley and Brian
Okay.
Cano. We did
Gotcha.
that. We did that as one of Tim's events, and we all went
Gotcha.
there, and we actually got. I actually got the guy's name of the coat that he wanted on display at the museum, and because out of all this racks of coats, I told Tim it's right there. And Tim grabbed the wrong one, and the guy was yelling at him yet. And I said that one, and he grabbed it out, and it only had a number on it, so we had to call the number in to the curator of the building, and
Right.
she ends up, and I said his name was Edgar Edward, something like that. And next thing over the walkie-talkie, Tim goes, "Oh, Scotty's the beep," and I said, "What's the name?" He said, "Edgar." I said, "Dang!"
Right. That's
So,
cool.
and his coat's on display there. That's a way bigger story, but it's so fun. But yeah, that was one of those nights that you have one of those great things happen where you can put a lot together in one night and really kind of help
Absolutely.
with stuff. I know Candy asked this, and I want to, and then I'm going to go to a couple other. Okay, Candy. When we cross over, it takes us a little bit, and now this is really weird because I'm Jason. So too. I'm channeling a book from a spirit that has died, and his mom is writing the book. So it's kind of funny. So her son
Cool.
died, and I'm channeling the book, and we're putting it together, and we've talked about him. He wasn't able to talk right away for like a day or so because he didn't know he was dead because he died quickly. But if you normally are you transition and you understand that stuff, we can usually talk within a day. But the reason I'm going to brought this up is because there's always things otherwise, and the day is our time, not spirit's time, because day in spirit world could be like 20 years. So it's very different because there is no time on the other side. But Candy, so what was amazing, in I think I told Jason when I was there, we were at Collingwood Arts. What was it? 2 years ago? No, 4 years ago. And we were sitting there, and I was giving this girl a reading first thing in the morning. She wanted to come right away in the morning. We opened like at 10. She was there like at 10.
Right.
And so she comes to me, and we sit down, and all this other stuff's going. But then I said, well, I'm just going to say, because I get this, your grandpa's here. And your grandpa's telling me, and I give her this whole message. And then she goes, at the end, she goes, my grandpa hasn't died. I said, okay, I'm just telling you, this man, he looks like this. He goes, yeah, that looks like my grandpa. And he's giving you this message. And I said, okay. So she just went on, and I said, give me your card. If you ever figure out who the spirit is, let me know, because I really want to know, because he came across so strong to me as your grandpa. So she goes home. An hour later, I get a phone call on my phone, and she goes, I have to tell you, Scotty, my grandpa died right before our reading.
Wow.
And she goes, now the message means even more to me. So Candy, so in that thought, they could happen as soon as they cross over. If they're trying to get somebody a message, they're trying to give somebody comfort before they go, then they're going to keep trying it right away, even as soon as they cross over. They might not always know how to do it, but they're going to try it. So, yes, the person that passed for you, Candy, should be able to talk to you today or tomorrow.
See, that happened with my father the day that he died. I stood next to him. He died at home with hospice. I stood next to him when he took his last breath. I was there with the corners when we put him in the bag and zipped him up. I even helped him take him down the steps. Went home and went to sleep. I was so exhausted because he had cancer, and we knew it was coming. And I worked and then went over and sat with him that night. Got a phone call. My mom said, "Come on back." I got back there in the early morning, and then was there, all day with my mom and making phone calls and what have you afterwards. Went home and just lay down for a little bit. And as soon as I had laid down and closed my eyes and was out, that whole thing started replaying. Where he took his last breath, we took him off, put him in the bag, and right as I was zipping it up, he sat up and told me, "Just tell your mom I'm going to be okay." And then laid back down. We ended up, then the whole thing played out just exactly the way that it was. And that was, hours after, that he had passed away. So I just going on what you were saying, I do think that, if they really want to get a message across, and it wasn't anything other than that, just let your mom know I'm okay.
Right.
And that was it, So I do think that they can communicate with you right after things happen if it's truly something that they want to, get out or pass. But I talk to my dad probably 2 or 3 times a year, and it always comes in dreams. It was weird. The first few years, it was always at the church that I went to elementary school, and he would always sit a few pews behind me, and we could talk, and it was like talking just like you and I are, but I couldn't turn around, but I wasn't allowed to turn around to look at him.
Okay.
I couldn't turn. I had to face forward, and he sat behind me. And as the years went on, he got closer.
Okay.
To about 4 or 5 years after he passed, then I started seeing him at the house that he passed away in. And I was always would come up to the house and go in, and he would always be sitting there, and then we'd talk. Well, then my mom died almost 9 years to the day after he did. So then it was, I didn't have a dream about my mom for about a year or two. Then it was my mom would be at the door greeting me, but I hardly ever talked to her. It was always to go in to see my dad, and then she was there, but we hardly ever talked.
Okay.
And then right before my grandpa passed away, my grandpa started I could start seeing him in the dream before he passed away. But then everything had transferred to my grandpa's house, which I'm in right now. So the whole. That's why I don't believe in dreams. I don't. I think that we travel to different dimensions, or however you want to say it. I
Yeah,
think that we
dimensions.
travel. Yeah, I think we travel. Um, I don't think that we fall asleep and dream. I think that we go to different places where we can interact and see and do different things. And those are
You
just
talked.
some of the experiences I've had with that over the
Right.
last 20 some years. It's just weird. You and I have talked lately.
But I
It's
still
always
think it's your
been
deja vu, though. I think it's your deja vu because I think we go to practice situations beforehand. If
right,
they're going to be rough or there's type of stuff, and then you go, "Ooh, I was already here." Yeah, you were already there. You were
right,
practicing it. You were
right,
seeing how
and
your
that's
outcomes are, and
and
that's what
that's
you.
what and that's what was freaking me out. And that's why I called you. I'm like, Scotty, we got to talk, brother, because this is happening way, way, way too frequently for me. Like
Right.
driving by and seeing something, be like, I wish they would do something with that place, or God, I wish they'd tear those trees down and build something there. And then a week later, you're driving by and they're tearing the trees down and building something there. It's like
Right.
after about the 10th or 11th time of doing that, I'm like, Scotty, brother, we got to talk. I don't know what's happening.
So Angie puts this up, and Angie has another question. Angie, which one are you asking about? Who has an event in March? Is that me or is that our guest, Mr. Jace Home? All right. Are you going to investigate Fox Hollow Farms? Last I heard, Fox Hollow Farms is closed to investigations because of the city of Indianapolis or whatever, because I don't think they have the codes and to let the people in to investigate. So I was there. Myself and Deb Lance were the first two psychic mediums. Oh, and her son um, were the first two or first three psychic mediums allowed in there. It was all three of us were allowed there. We did an investigation way, way, way early before they let other people there. So yes, I've investigated Fox Hollow Farms. Probably the closest thing to evil that I believe in because I don't believe in the devil. I don't believe in hell. I don't believe in all that. I don't believe in demons. So because of that, this guy that did the murders there at Fox Hollow Farm, by far the one that influenced my dreams. He did a lot of stuff, and he's by far the closest thing to evil. Are you ever there?
I've never been there.
Lisa Crick has been there. She used to go there a lot.
Another lovely person.
I know she's amazing, isn't she?
Yeah.
Love her. Love her, love her, love her. Oh, Shelly, thank you.
Hey, Shelly. Shelly's
Hey,
Toledo peeps.
I know. And so is Candy in there, who we've been talking about.
Yep.
She's in Toledo. We got a lot of
Yep.
Toledo people tonight. So Toledo in the house.
419.
Are the Mudhens playing this year?
They are going to do yes, they're going to play. It's just 25-30% capacity right now, and um, see how everything goes. I think we're coming around to some sort of normalcy here. I think we need it. I think everybody needs that. um, just that big deep breath of we're going in the right path, I think.
Yeah, we definitely are. All right, so I always talk about this, so I just brought it up. But so, what do you believe in demons? Do you believe in them?
Do I believe in demons?
Yeah, I ask all my paranormal guests that.
I believe that there's bad stuff out there.
I do too.
I I I don't think, um, with my Catholic faith, I'm driven to say, um, that yes, there's demons because that's what's been drilled forever. But I don't honestly think, um, there's demons. I think there's cold people. I think there's very evil people. I think that that somehow gets Hollywood lost in translation when you're dealing with um, just bad stuff. I think, there's bad people out there that die. There's
Agree.
really, really bad people that have died. So why wouldn't they be bad people in the spirit realm or whatever realm that you're
So
interacting with?
here's my lesson. They're a ghost
Right.
because
Going
they
back
didn't
to
make
what you
it to
said.
heaven. They
Right.
didn't make it to heaven. And
Right.
so once you make it to heaven, see, I'm a recovering Catholic. I used to be an altar boy, and we used to get into all these fights where how come priests can talk to spirits but I can't? Got into
Right.
all that arguments for years. So I don't. Me and the Catholic faith aren't quite. I mean, I believe in. I was born in. I understand. I mean, I
Yep.
understand the Christian faith, but now I understand a lot of faiths, and a lot of them have great points to it. So now I look at it as a oneness, as a whole, and I
Yep.
understand it. And yes, that guy from Fox Hollow Farms, he's a ghost, and he's still a pain in the ass. He's still that same evil person he was on Earth. And like I said, the most evil I've ever felt, ever, anywhere. I've never felt anything worse than him. And to me, if you went there, you could say that was a demon. In some realms, he might be, but he's just a human that's just a totally awful dude. And I guess
Right.
other people like that are there too. But in my dream or in my readings and in my experiences with all the spirits I talk to, I've never, ever, 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 never gotten anyone talking about hell. There just hasn't been. It's
Right.
just not there. It's just not in the vocabulary. I have had other, like my guest last week was Jeremy Anaker, and he channels this group called Rama of what most people might call it angels, but these are people that have never been on Earth, that are in the spirit realm and the heaven realm, up in that area, and they come through, and we asked them about hell in one of his local ones, and they didn't even talk about it. They were showing us that it's not there. So it comes back down to the spiritualist saying that we make our own happiness or unhappiness, and I think that's where it comes down to. And if you get into that lower energy or you become that person and allow you to go down those paths, you're in law enforcement, that you've seen some really good people go down really bad paths and never come back
Right.
because it just changes them. And they can come back. They're allowed to come back, but they just don't because they're more comfortable in that realm. And that's the unfortunate thing. And that's where I think those spirits, like the guy from Fox Hollow Farms, he I don't even like calling it. I don't even talk his name, so that's why I don't do it because I don't like him. But but that's the type of energies I'm talking about. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I find it hard to believe in the whole demonic thing. I just think that there's bad things out there, and
Yeah.
just like I don't know, we talk Ouija boards. I make custom Ouija boards. I've been doing it the last couple of years. I've got
And
about
they're
40 of.
beautiful.
Thank you, and I have about
They're
40 of them in
beautiful.
my house.
Yeah.
My walls don't bleed. My kids are fine. My wife's fine. I don't you know I don't get thrown down the steps towards them. I don't get launched across the hall. I think it's just another avenue of communication, just like the K2 meter and dowsing rods and whatever else anybody wants to use. Um, I, once Hollywood made The Exorcist and put that Ouija board out there, then all of a sudden, hey, there's my baby.
I
Um,
know. He's watching.
it's become demonic now. It's a
Right.
gateway to Satan, and I have a hard time believing that. And that's the same thing with demons. I just think that there's very bad people, like I said, that have died that are out there that are just bad. Does
Right.
that make them a demon? I don't think
Well,
so.
I mean, yeah, it depends on your definition. And everything you're talking about, all your Ouija boards are of love because you make them and they're so beautiful. I mean, it's just of love. And so what it is because even at Parker Brothers, I think that's the one who makes the other ones,
The
or
cardboard
Mattel.
ones, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Parker Brothers.
They don't have a a cadre of demons that sit at the end of the line, and when the board gets done, they jump into the board and then they wait for you to start using it. That's just not the case.
Right.
It, it, it
There's no demons hanging out of the Toys R Us next to
yeah,
Jeffrey the Giraffe. uh,
but that's what it is. It's your intent. I mean,
right.
you could do evil stuff or negative stuff with a pendulum.
You're taking the words out of my mouth, because I get asked about that a lot. How can you make the those Ouija boards, and it's darkness, and I said you get in what you get out of it what you put into it. If
Right.
you want to search for darkness, if you want to search for bad things, you don't need a Ouija board to do it.
You need meditation.
You
Even if
know,
you meditate, you can bring it in, or you can
right?
conjure, or you can ask, and it comes in. If you want to live in that realm, you're going to get that realm.
It's there. It's there for sure. So that's like I said, Hollywood makes a movie, and the next thing you know, it's the it's the devil symbol. I started making them to try to get back to the original wooden custom boards that have meaning, have that show beauty in the work, and something that you can display. I have people that buy my boards that will never use them, but just want it for just to display, and
Right.
that's great. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. The Warrens. I'm
Yeah,
not blaming the Warrens, but yes, they did it too. I mean, they were very Catholic, and they had all those things. And I mean, but it was their belief at the time, and I think we're evolving, and I think that's what the big thing is. Where as a society now, we we have to start, and that's what this whole year's or whole last year was about, with all the riots and everything. People have to start taking ownership for their own crap.
right.
That's what it's got to come
That's
down
true.
to. We can't blame it on other groups. We can't blame it on for people's, if they're LGBTQ, if they're black, if they're Asian, if they're white. We can't blame anybody. We can't do that anymore. We got to start taking ownership for our own lives, making our own happiness, making our own unhappiness, allowing us to be the people that we're supposed to be, the oneness, helping others out. Somebody's hungry, give them food. Someone needs a place to stay, let them sleep. That's what we're supposed to be doing.
Right.
But we get too caught up in that. Oh, I have to be the top of the world. But last year, when the top of the world went away, and all this materialism went away because you couldn't go shopping. All you were worried about is if you were going to get food and toilet paper.
Right.
So last year showed us that that's not what this world's about. Running to the top of the food chain or running to the top of the corporate ladder is not what this is about. It is about
Right.
love. It
Right.
is about love. It's about the oneness. It's about helping each other, helping us to live the wonderful lives we're supposed to live. And the paranormal is exactly the same thing. And that's why I hate calling it paranormal, but that's our term right now. And until we don't, until we get something different, that's what we'll use. But it's the same thing in there. We have to show people how you can live with spirit, how you can live, with the beings around you. Just like, when you guys go into place, how, why, where, when, give us some information of what you're catching, and then we can make the decisions on how to live and work with it.
Right.
Sorry, I got on my
Exactly.
soapbox. I
No,
got on my
no, it's fine. I've heard a lot of people say that it's like hitting the refresh button. It's like, you have society in a whole is going down this horrid path, and whatever it might be said, okay, we need a reset button. Everybody needs to, rethink what's happening here and go back to basics. The virus is bad. The virus um, is and was a bad thing,
It
but
is.
it also took going out to dinner and making dinner at home now. So now you're spending more time with the family. Now you're having dinners together instead of everybody's on this fast-paced schedule. So you're missing family time. You're missing, that togetherness. And that, I mean, it's if you think about it, there's a lot of things that this virus did for us that has kind of hit that reset button and showed that, you need each other, you need to work together,
Yeah.
and you need to go back to the basics. And it's, I try to look at the good of what came out of it, and not the bad.
Well,
And there's
the pandemic got me doing this full time. The pandemic has given me some great students that now, because they had the time, they weren't running around herd spirit and now want to work with spirit. So how many more people were like that this year? And I'm so sad for everyone who's lost their lives. I understand that. But I'm also happy, and I hate to say this way, but just hear me out. But I'm also happy because I know where you are. And the place that you are is so spectacular. And when we die, we're going to someplace so amazing and so fun and so beautiful that I'm ready to go right now. Because anytime they want me to come, I'm okay because it's going to be great.
right.
And that's my belief. So yes, they're not with us. Yes, we're not hugging them. Yes, we're not giving them kiss goodnight because they're off of this plane, but they're in an amazing plane with some amazing souls.
Right. For sure.
Sorry, still on my soapbox.
It's all good.
Couldn't come down off of it. Couldn't come down off of it.
You don't need to.
But it's so the truth. Oh, so Barbara, who's one of my students now, did you know that, Jason?
I do know that she talks to you.
Yep, she's taking classes.
My Ouija board told me about Julie.
So
Very cool. I love the boards. I love making the boards. Um,
I love, I see nothing wrong with the boards.
yeah,
So if you have a board and you want to use it, use it.
Yeah. To me, it's just another form of communication.
So,
To me, anyways.
I agree. You're 100% right. And it was funny because I don't know if you heard the story when I was in Pensacola, Florida at a convention many, 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 many moons ago. And I was on there with Mark Anthony, who's been one of my guests on the show, the psychic lawyer. Him and I were on a panel with Bob Senkner and a few others. And so we were on there and Ouija boards came up. And the lady got all mad, said her mom is like possessed because of the Ouija board and all this type of things. And she's cursed because of the Ouija board. And I told her that it was because your mom's intent that got her in with the lower vibrational energies. If she wants to work her way out of it, she can. And she ended up, and then so did Mark, and so did a lot of people on the panel agree with me, and so the lady cursed me right there in front of everybody, put like this spell on me, this curse. And the next day I got cast in the Blues Brothers movie, not the Blues Brothers movie, Children of the Grave 2. Next day. I was like, okay, curse me again. I need to get on TV. So curse me.
Keep sending those curses.
Yeah, keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Right.
All the good things might happen after. Come on, keep them coming.
That's fun.
But it's the intent. Even the curse doesn't work if you don't believe in it.
Right. Jay and I were just talking about that, and he said that numerous times. If you're going to put something on me that I don't believe in, then how is it going to work on me? Like you would have to believe in that in order to have that kind of ramification. I don't believe in it.
But that's the same thing I say about demonologists. So don't get me wrong. So I'm not. I have some very good friends that are. I'm not calling them out here tonight at all. You know what I mean?
Right.
We both know.
I know. Yeah. I mean, you
no,
both know a bunch of them.
Yeah, we love it.
If that's what you do, that's fine.
But isn't that a Catholic thing? So to be a demonologist, you have to be a Catholic, right? So then, if you're a Protestant, does a Catholic demonologist work on those demons, or is it just the Catholic demons? And are all demons just Catholic? And how about the Jewish ones? How about
they just want your money, Scotty? They just want the money. That's all they want. I'm trying to delve into a little bit more about the Catholic faith, because the Vatican actually has writings about EVPs and all that stuff. So
Right.
um, it's hard to get access to, but I'm slowly but surely trying to dig up on that because I want to do. Jay and I have been talking about it. I kind of want to go around and interview some different people with different faiths and different churches and see how, if it all coordinates together, if it doesn't, I want to know. And one of the religions I want to sit down and talk with is Satanism or satanic worship, and that I want to sit down and listen to what you have to say. I want to try to understand where you're coming from and
Right.
and what you believe. Now, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I think that if you're going to make statements about one or two, you should know about 10. So, it doesn't hurt to have knowledge on everything that you can possibly get out there. So I want to know. I want to ask questions. And lately, that's what we've been doing a lot is asking questions. I have a ton of questions, about different things that we've experienced or what people say. I've got a ton of them, and a lot of people um, think it's arrogance, and I'm not trying to be arrogant about it. I just have questions, and some of the questions are hard for people to answer because they think I'm testing them for whatever reason. I just have
Right.
questions. I want to know. If you claim to know, then I would like to have you answer some of these questions. I want to know what you have to say.
Right.
And running into a block with, well, you're just asking that because you're trying to say that this doesn't matter and that doesn't matter. No, that's not it at all.
No.
If you're open to it, then talk to me about it. I want to know. I really do. So
You know Terry very well. She does that all the time with everybody.
right,
That's her big thing. She asks questions because she wants to know really, do you believe your faith, or do you believe in what you really say, and where'd you get the evidence to back it up?
sure,
So,
yeah,
and most people say, well, the Bible says. Where in the Bible does it say it? What verse, what line, what thing? Most people don't know that, but they use it to make their points.
sure,
You know, like God is great. Bible says that. Okay, where in the Bible does it say God is great? God. Maybe
right,
it says good or whatever, but you're misquoting it. You're making your point out of it.
right,
So that's the thing. The more, but that's I'm also going to step back up on my soapbox here. But I think that's another problem that we're having that we need to figure out is instead of bashing people for their beliefs, why don't we learn about them?
right,
Instead of bashing somebody for being LGBTQ, why don't you love them and learn about them
right.
and understand what they are? I'm
And
not
that's
saying I'm not saying you have to agree, but you need to learn. You need to
right,
understand. I mean, I agree with LGBTQ, but that you don't have to. I'm not saying anybody else needs to be with me in that.
right,
That's in anything. And right now, I mean, that's the same thing in the difference between Republican and Democrat. Who cares what you are? But everybody says you can't be my friend if you don't believe in the same thing I believe in.
right.
Isn't that scary? Isn't
It is.
that not what we're supposed to be about?
Right. I think if the titles were put away and people actually just talked and tried to figure things out on what's best for you, what's best for me, and do it that way, I think we'd be in a lot better place
Right.
than titles. There's lots of titles. Everybody wants a title. Everybody wants a heading. Everybody wants I'm part of this, I'm part of that. I'm involved with this. If everybody was just involved together, I think we'd have a much better place.
Yeah, I agree.
You'd be surprised as soon as people find out that I'm in law enforcement. I lose people all the time.
Right.
Okay. I mean, I'm sorry that you might have had a bad experience or whatever. You know, there's good
It doesn't
lawyers, there's good cops, there's bad lawyers, there's bad cops, there's bad psychics, there's bad pharmacists, there's bad, you know. So
everywhere there's bad somebody in any job, anything.
right,
Because people fraud everybody. People are bad. People are, and they make it bad for others.
Right.
And it's so tough. It is just so tough. And I'm like going, but we would rather have the toughness out there than the love. And that's what I'm trying to get everybody to understand. Let's just approach everybody with love. And if we did that, then we wouldn't have these issues.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
So Bodine, man, him and I made out once.
He was laying on your lap and
Yeah, we were having a good time.
dancing and yeah.
Bodine Bigfoot, man. And you just had a post on your page today about Bodine. So go on Jason's page and look up Bodine.
Yeah, Bodine the Bigfoot. He's got a Facebook page. If you go over to LEP Productions on YouTube, there's videos. Actually going to drop another video this week about Jay and I out with Bodine, walking around in the woods, just kind of hanging out.
The funniest one was when we were at the bar at SoCon in Mattoon, Illinois, and he went by the window of everybody in the bar, and everybody comes up to the window like, what the hell was that?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he was dancing and doing the karaoke, and yeah, once you start getting him integrated with people, he puts his guard down and he has some fun.
Yeah, he has some fun. Has a couple of beers and enjoys himself.
He's fun. He's family oriented. He's very family oriented.
He is. Bodine's great. All right, buddy. So let's get into where everybody can find you and your dealies and
Jason Arthur, Jason Arthur on Facebook, and then LEP Productions on YouTube. We also have LEP Productions on Facebook as well. ParanormalMysteriesHome.com is our website. We also have Paranormal Mysteries on Facebook as well. Bless you, brother.
Yeah.
And we do a couple of different shows throughout the week. Bodine is, and speaking of somebody that's kissed Bodine, Teresa has kissed Bodine once or twice.
Teresa has a crush on Bodine,
right? But who doesn't? Who doesn't love Bodine? But
I love Bodine.
But yeah, we're most of the time it's going to be LEP Productions, YouTube and Facebook, and ParanormalMysteriesHome.com will be where we put everything out. Like I said, we just signed with our 6th convention for this year, so we'll be up into Michigan. We're going to be out in Iowa. We'll be all over the place with Bodine this year, so looking forward to it. Jay has no idea either. That's the funny part about it. Jay doesn't know. Teresa keeps it a secret.
Got you. I love when we kiss. You got that tickle of all the fur. That's pretty cool.
Right?
That's great. Well, Jason, thank you for coming on the show. I'm glad you made it this week. And I thank everybody for coming, and enjoy this week. I'm on here at Shadow Hunters every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. And come see me. You can find me on Facebook, Scotty Rorek, Psychic Medium, Scotty Rorek, Twitter, YouTube. But anyway, I want to invite everybody else to Psychics Unite. Come join us. We're growing groups all over the nation. A lot of our videos are on Psychics Unite's YouTube page. So come out to Psychics Unite and psychicsunite.com. Great new page. Steve Hodgins made that for us. So wonderful page. Him and Jen have done a lot of work on it. So thank you guys so much for being with us tonight. We will see you guys next week. I gotta find our outro. I always forget it.
Right.
So see you, Jason. Thanks, man.
Thank you.